Hyman's face just looks painful. I'm trying to figure out whose face looks worse, Hyman or Brady Tkachuk. This guy's face looks great. Marty, you haven't played for a long time. You look fantastic. Like retirement straightened you great, buddy.
You know what? I once broke a tooth, Jay, chewing on a bagel before a game. Not taking a puck to the face, but chewing on a bagel. That's what happened to me.
I get it. It happens sometimes. What can you say about Zach Hyman, Marty? You know, we know he had that kind of slow start to the season. Lately, he's been picking it up, and I thought, well, he broke his nose. Maybe he's going to take a night off or not go quite as hard, but that's just not in his DNA, is it?
That is not in his DNA. And I know McDavid and Draisaitl, they drive the bus with the Edmonton Oilers, but you look at Hyman, I think he's the X factor. In the first 20 games of the season, the Oilers were 10-8-2. We all know that Hyman only had 3 goals in the first 20 games. His expected goals were still about a .35 per game. So he was getting chances. He was just not converting those chances. But in the last 7 games, Zach Hyman is expected to score a goal per game. That is amazing. He's number 1 in the NHL in the last 7 games with a 1 goals expected per game. He actually overperforms, having scored 8 now in 7 games, and the Oilers are 6-1 in those games. So you think of the first 20 games where they were just a couple of games over 500, and now with Hyman scoring, you're still getting McDavid getting his point in his goal and Draisaitl, but it's adding a layer now, and it is producing wins, not just goals for Hyman, but wins for the team. And if he doesn't score the 2-1 goal, I know it's a bad goal on Swayman, but if he doesn't score that goal, the Oilers don't win that game. Like, they were down 2-0. Somebody needed to come up with a big goal. Zach Hyman got it done, and for that, he's been fantastic of late.
Sens have been fantastic of late, and specifically their goaltender, Linus Ullmark, who, Marty, really seems like he was born to play in Canada. He's having a great time. He's so fun in the post-game scrums and the pre-game scrums. He's got to be the biggest reason this team has finally taken off, right?
Yeah, and I got to know him a lot, when he was playing with the Buffalo Sabres. And I kept telling people 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, like, give him a chance. He's on a new team, learning a new system. He was a little banged up in the beginning of the season. He's going to come around. And what we've seen now is, yes, he's won his last 7 starts, but since November 27th, he's 8-0-1. And in that time frame, he has saved 15 goals over expectations. Now, I get his goals against average and save percentage are out of this world. They're fantastic. But I love this goal save above expectation stats because it measures you against an average goaltender. Like, he saved 15 goals in 9 games over expectation. The closest goalie in that time frame in the NHL is Jacob Markstrom, who has saved 7. 15 compared to 7. Like, that's how dominant Linus Ullmark has been. And then you see the play that he made on the overtime game winner. He gets the assist, secondary assist. He gets it up the ice. He's having so much fun. He's playing loose. He's making big glove saves. Like, that is Linus Ullmark in a nutshell. That's why he was so good in Boston. He was really good in Buffalo as well. And now because of that, I think Ottawa is a playoff team. They are in the wild card spot, but they get the goaltending now. And I think Ottawa is going to make the playoffs because of Linus Ullmark.
Tough loss for the Calgary Flames. Maybe they can look at Ottawa as a team who, struggled for so long and now finally seem to be figuring it out. Maybe they can see that as a bit of a model. But we know it's still a rebuilding team in Calgary, Marty. If you're talking about GM Craig Conroy, what do you think in his mind would be a successful season for Calgary?
Well, what they're doing right now is success early in the season, right? You're in the mix. You're putting yourself in a wild card position. You're falling out one day. You're coming back the next. I think this is a successful step forward for the Calgary Flames. Do I expect the Flames to make the playoffs at the end of the year? No. I think Colorado is behind them, is going to come on strong. Utah, after a good start and then a slow kind of, little patch there, they're going to come on strong. So I think the Flames probably miss out on the playoffs this year. But what they've been doing, there's some individuals on that team that are having good seasons. Why? Because the last few years it's been tough. Kadri, Huberdeau, like, those are veterans you can rely upon. But when it comes to the trade deadline, and I know we're still 2 months away from the trade deadline, but I think the Flames have to think, okay, how can we even get better, right? Like Kuzmenko, Barry on defense, maybe even Dan Vladar. Like, there's teams that are going to look for goaltending, and Vladar's been great, but we all know Dustin Wolf is the guy for the Calgary Flames. So I think being in the mix is a successful season, but I wanted to see the Flames think of, What about next year? What about 2 years down the road? And start making those phone calls now so they're prepared in a couple of months when the deadline comes around.
Very interesting Saturday coming up for these three teams. Ottawa takes on Vancouver, but Calgary has Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks. The Oilers have Macklin Celebrini and the Sharks to get to see the future of the NHL. Marty, you were great. Thanks for this, buddy. Appreciate it.